It all began on a breezy Monday morning when a group of fifth graders sat fidgeting in their seats, waiting for the bell to ring. The first day after the holidays always felt strange, too quiet, too slow, like the school had forgotten how to breathe after weeks of laughter and rest. Among the students was Emma, a quiet girl with a heart so big that even she didn't realize how much it could hold. She had long brown hair tied into a messy ponytail and a pair of glasses that kept sliding down her nose. She wasn't the most talkative, but she was the kind who noticed things others didn't: the new boy sitting alone, the teacher who looked tired, the class pet that hadn't been fed yet. That morning, their teacher, Mr. Lewis, walked in with a stack of papers and a bright smile. "All right, class," he said, setting down the papers. "This semester, we're going to try something new. I want each of you to think of one way we can make our school a better, kinder place. It can be small or big, but it must make a difference." The room buzzed with whispers. Some kids looked confused, others excited. Emma sat thinking. Her mind wandered back to the cafeteria last week when she'd seen another student, a younger boy, sitting alone with his lunch. No one had joined him. She had wanted to, but her shyness had held her back. Now, the thought stung her heart. After school, Emma decided to do something about it. She stayed behind and asked Mr. Lewis, "Can I start something? Like, a group? A group that helps others?" Mr. Lewis's eyes twinkled. "That sounds wonderful, Emma. What would you call it?" She thought for a moment, tapping her pencil against her desk. "The Kindness Club," she said softly, but with a small, confident smile. By the next week, Emma had pinned a colorful poster on the school bulletin board: "Join the Kindness Club, one good deed at a time." She drew it herself, with bright markers and a heart at the center. For a few days, no one signed up. She felt a bit discouraged, wondering if maybe kindness wasn't as exciting as soccer or art club. But then, one afternoon, someone wrote their name on the sign-up sheet. It was Jacob, a boy who was always laughing, always surrounded by friends. "Hey," he said when she saw him looking at the list, "this sounds cool. My little sister got teased last week, and it made me think. Maybe I can help make school nicer." Emma smiled wide. "That's exactly what I hoped." Soon after, two more names appeared: Lila, who loved painting, and Mateo, who liked fixing things. Their first meeting was in the library, where they gathered around a small table, notebooks open, pencils ready. Emma felt nervous but determined. "We're here because we care," she said. "So let's figure out what we can do." Their first act of kindness was small but sweet. Lila suggested painting cheerful bookmarks to put in random library books. They spent an afternoon drawing rainbows, stars, and encouraging messages like "You're amazing" and "Keep going." When students discovered them, the librarian said she saw more smiles than ever before. The Kindness Club was officially born. The next week, Mateo noticed that the playground bench was broken. "I can fix it," he said. He brought some tools from home, and with Mr. Lewis's permission, the group helped him repair and paint it bright blue. They added a sign that read "The Buddy Bench, no one sits alone." Soon, kids began using it. Anyone feeling lonely could sit there, and others knew to invite them to play. News spread quickly. Other students began asking, "Can we join too?" Within a month, the club had grown from 4 members to 15. They met every Friday after school, each meeting starting with one question from Emma: "Who noticed kindness this week?" Some weeks they made cards for teachers. Other times, they helped clean up the playground. One Friday, they brought flowers to the school custodian, Mr. Patel, who always worked quietly in the background. He wiped his eyes when he received the flowers and said, "No one has ever done this for me before." The acts of kindness began to ripple. The cafeteria became a little louder with laughter instead of teasing. The hallways echoed with "thank yous" and "after yous." Even Principal Green mentioned the club in the morning announcements, saying, "Our school feels brighter, thanks to a few brave hearts." But not everything went perfectly. One week, a few kids started mocking the club, calling them the do-gooders. It hurt. During their next meeting, the members looked disheartened. "Maybe people don't like us," Lila murmured, frowning. Emma sighed. "Maybe they don't understand yet." Jacob, ever the optimist, grinned. "Then let's show them what kindness really looks like." They decided to organize a kindness week. Each day, they planned something different. Monday was compliment day. Tuesday was help a friend day. Wednesday, they wrote thank you notes to teachers and staff. Thursday, they held a bake sale to raise money for the animal shelter. And on Friday, they hosted a smile parade, walking through the halls handing out paper hearts with kind messages. The entire school joined in. Even the kids who had mocked them earlier ended up participating, laughing as they handed out cookies and stickers. Kindness, it turned out, was contagious. On the final day of Kindness Week, Principal Green surprised the club with an announcement. "The Kindness Club has reminded us all what our school stands for: community, care, and courage. From now on, this week will happen every year." Cheers filled the air. Emma looked around the gym, where hundreds of students were gathered, and felt her eyes sting with happy tears. She had started something small, a spark that turned into a shining light. But the story didn't end there. A few days later, while Emma was leaving school, she noticed a little boy sitting alone on the steps. It was the same boy she had seen months ago in the cafeteria. She walked over and sat beside him. "Hey," she said softly, "what's your name?" "Oliver," he said, looking down at his shoes. "Want to walk home together?" she asked. He nodded shyly. As they walked, she told him about the Kindness Club. "You can join us if you want," she said. "We do small things to make people happy." Oliver smiled for the first time that day. "I'd like that," he whispered. The next Friday, he came to his first meeting, clutching a small handmade card. "It's for you," he said to Emma. On it, he had drawn a big red heart with the words "Thank you for being kind to me." Emma felt her heart swell. That simple card became a symbol for the entire club, a reminder that kindness didn't need to be grand to be powerful. The following months were filled with more acts of kindness, planting flowers around the schoolyard, creating care packages for a local nursing home, and writing letters to soldiers overseas. Every act, no matter how small, left a trace of warmth behind. As the school year neared its end, Mr. Lewis surprised the club with a special gift, a golden notebook titled The Book of Kindness. "Write down everything you've done," he said, "so others can learn from you and keep the kindness going." Each member wrote something in it. Lila drew hearts and stars. Mateo wrote about fixing the bench. Jacob added a list of kindness ideas for next year. And Emma, her heart full, wrote on the last page. "Kindness is not just something we do, it's something we are. Even if the world forgets, we can remind it again and again." When the last day of school came, they gathered in the courtyard for one final meeting. The sun was golden, and laughter filled the air. "Do you think people will remember the Kindness Club?" Lila asked. "They will," Emma said. "Because kindness leaves footprints you can't see, but they never fade." As she looked around, at Jacob helping carry chairs, at Mateo tying ribbons to the new plants, at Oliver laughing with other kids, she realized something beautiful. The Kindness Club wasn't just a group anymore. It had become part of the school's heartbeat. Years later, when Emma was in high school, she visited her old elementary school. The walls looked smaller, but the spirit felt even brighter. There, near the library, she found the same blue bench, the buddy bench, still shining in the sunlight. On the wall beside it hung a poster that read, "The Kindness Club, founded by Emma and friends. Keep the kindness going." Below the sign, a few new kids were gathered, holding the golden notebook. One of them, a small girl with curly hair, was saying, "Let's write about how we helped the new student today." Emma smiled, tears welling in her eyes. The club had lived on. The kindness had spread far beyond her small circle, it had become a tradition, a way of life. As she walked away, she thought of all the people who had been touched by a smile, a card, a repaired bench, a kind word. She realized that the real magic of kindness was that it never stopped, it kept traveling, growing, and blooming wherever it landed. And that day, as the sun dipped behind the playground, Emma whispered softly to herself, "Once you start kindness, it never ends." Because somewhere, a new group of children were sitting in that same library, around that same small table, starting once again with the same simple promise, "We're here because we care."